Yeah, a lot of people told me that after Donald Trump won in November, kind of surprising, actually, not only did he win, but it was very quick. A lot of people told me that there was going to be a realignment on the Democrat side, that they were going to recognize their mistakes. It's the only way to recover. And what's not happening, I mean, Trump's not president yet, but based on what we're seeing, it's only going to get worse for Democrats as they double down and spiral out of control. Now, of course, there is still John Fetterman. You may have seen him. He is playing the game very well. We know what he's doing. He's even got some Republicans cheering him on. The dude is playing this moderate game where, publicly speaking, he's like, why do we do this? Why do we do it? It's sounding like he's agreeing with Elon Musk or conservatives. When it comes to voting, however, he is party line Democrat. He gets it. He sees what's happening in Pennsylvania, and he knows that if he wants to get reelected, he's got to come off as a moderate. But he's basically the only one. So good luck, Fetterman. He's going to get attacked because of this, and the Democrat machine hasn't learned a dang thing. Now, to be fair, the corporate press is faltering, and maybe they're starting to realize why. The big news today is that the Washington Post's traffic is down 90%. Ah, yes. A platform that just posts mis and disinformation. The corporate press, how about that? Democracy dies in darkness. Well, Bezos wouldn't allow the paper to endorse Kamala. So crackpot Jennifer Rubin quit. Apparently, that's the one of the principal reasons. But she recently made a statement that's going viral where she says Republicans are trying to kill kids. They haven't learned a lesson, and I'm here for it. The concern we have is that Trump's only got about a year to enact his agenda before squishy congressional Republicans fall apart. Democrats maybe turn around in the midterms. Who knows? Then the back half of Trump's second term, they're going to obstruct him once again. I kind of think based on the track we're seeing for Democrats, it's looking really bad for them because they're not learning their lesson. Well, let's start here. Let me play this video of Jennifer Rubin, who's nuts, and we can hear what she has to say. Before we do, my friends, you got to go to boonieshq.com. Why? Because the Tim Pool Pro Model 28th Amendment skateboard now available. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Chickens being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep, bear, and breed chickens shall not be infringed, is the latest skateboard for the My Graphic. And we've sold out of one of the sizes, but we still have a handful that are in stock. So if you think that the right to keep, bear, and breed chickens shall not be infringed, purchase the 28th Amendment skateboard over at Boonies HQ. But let's jump back to the news. Let me play this clip from Jennifer Rubin. It's funny because she supposedly was a conservative, but her brain turned to, I'd want to say Jell-O, but that's offensive to Jell-O. Jell-O is delicious. It turned into some kind of, I don't know, let's just call it astringent sludge.
Talk broad themes. You have to boil it down to nuts and bolts, and you have to be pithy. What do I mean by pithy? How about this? Republicans want to kill your kids. It's actually true. If you're going to oppose vaccinations, if you're going to stop breakthrough medical research, if you're going to allow minors and all sorts of people to get semi-automatic weapons, which they use to shoot up schools, well, then you are responsible for kids' health and death, unfortunately. It has to be that simple and that direct, and it has to be over and over and over again.
So, it's really funny. I mean, she's insane, clearly. But this is what you get from the corporate press. Now, she left the Washington Post, and the Washington Post is in the gutter, so okay, fine. But let's play this again, and I just give you a simple debunking of this.
Broad themes. You have to boil it down to nuts and bolts. And
I try to say, she sounds crazy, too. Oh, the way she talks, you have to be pithy.
You have to be pithy. What do I mean by pithy? How about this? Republicans want to kill your kids. It's actually true.
Well, it's actually not true, but sure. It's really funny because Democrats are the party of abortion, which literally kills kids. So, anyway.
Going to oppose vaccinations, if you're going to stop breakthrough medical research, if you're going to allow minors and...
let's pause real quick. Okay.
Medical research.
So, oppose vaccination. Yeah, that's contentious because conservatives are split across the board on the issue of requiring vaccination. It's not actually a principal party line issue for Republicans, and there are some that oppose them outright, some that oppose only the new ones, mRNA, and some who are outright just like, I don't care one way or the other. Oppose breakthrough medical research? That's just a made-up thing that no one's talking about.
If you're going to allow minors and all sorts of people to get semi-automatic weapons, which they use to shoot up schools, well, they...
So I just pause there and say, relative to the amount of people who buy guns, the school shootings are markedly rare, uncommon occurrences, unrelated to the purchasing of weapons. Do crazy people do it? Indeed. Is it bad? Of course it is. But what does it have to do with like a kid who's doing sport shooting or any kind of general training? Like nonsense.
Then you are responsible for kids' health and death, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing imaginable because like most people who have weapons aren't using them to hurt people in any kind of like direct violent way. To then say that because Republicans want that issue, they want to kill your kids. Okay, let's play this game. Jennifer Rubin wants to mercilessly batter and murder children. Personally, she does. She said it because she thinks that minors should be allowed to drive cars and cars are used to run kids over. That means that Jennifer Rubin wants to murder children. Personally, she does. She wants them murdered. Oh, come on. That's the stupidest thing imaginable. These people are nuts. This is why it just doesn't work anymore. I don't know what world she grew up in, but she is nuts, okay? Well, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Washington Post has lost nearly 90% of its audience. And I say good riddance to a bad problem. There's a reason. People are waking up. And it's because the Washington Post had psychotic morons like Rubin. Holy, you know what, man? I don't know what for, okay? I'm 38. In 2 months, I'm going to be 39. All right, I mean, middle age, just around the corner. I guess technically I'm there. Because what is it? 79 is life. I'm halfway there. 79 is life expectancy for an American male. And apparently my family lives a really long time, so we'll see. But when I turn 60, is my brain going to fall out of my head like these people? Like, were they always this dumb? Holy crap. If it does, you know, let me ride off into the sunset. But I guess I'm wondering, is it like, what is she? She's a boomer, Rubin? Was she always this stupid? And they just employ people like that? Because I'm terrified when I see how stupid these people are. I'm like, when they were in their 30s running these media companies, did their brains not work then the same as now? Or is it like as they get older, their brains stop working? I kind of think they were just always stupid. Because like, I know a lot of people who are older than her who aren't nearly as dumb. But I'm just saying, like, is that going to happen to us in media? Like, our brains just turn to astringent goo? Look at this. Washington Post subscriber and readership base has reportedly tanked over the last 4 years. Data on web traffic over the last 4 years shows that their 2024 numbers shrank substantially. Now, here's the thing, though. They said at the beginning of Biden's term, the site saw 22.5 million daily users. Yeah, guys. That was January 6th. That was the election. I don't know that it's fair, especially during COVID lockdown, to be like, look how good they were doing. Look how well they were doing. And now they're doing very, very poorly. I love this. The site saw around 22.5 million users per day, and now they're getting 2.5 to 3 million users per day. You know why that's really crazy? That means that Timcast rivals the Washington Post. Wow. That's nuts. I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. I hung out with Greg Kelly, great guy, went on a show in New York. And he was saying, like, you're the biggest guy. And I'm like, we're not. It's a big show, and I do a handful of shows. Maybe we need to do more shows. Because if we're smarter, better, faster, and almost equally as successful as the Washington Post, they're declining and we're on the rise. We got to get the ball rolling, and we got to create a media enterprise that shuts down the BS and gives you the real news in a real way. I suppose we do. I'm just saying we got to fight harder. That's kind of crazy. Last year, Washington Post stopped disclosing its traffic on press releases after a decline of 60%. During the same time, the outlet's revenue fell from 190 to 174 million. Yeah, but like 174 million? Damn. You know, we're doing something wrong over here. We're talking with these ad networks because that's the thing. The Washington Post, guys, go to timcast.com, click join us, become a member. That's the struggle right there. Do we just paywall, you know, like Washington Post does because it works? How is it that we have a comparable viewership, but we ain't going anywhere near $174 million? And that's supposedly bad for them. Well, we're going to figure it out, my friends. We're going to figure it out. But the good news is, as these crackpots lose status and they lose money, we are coming up behind them. So what I will wrap up by saying is they're failing. Their narrative machine is crumbling, and they're maintaining the same narrative. They don't seem to understand. I got to be honest. Looks like smooth sailing from here. I'll wrap it up, my friends. Smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at youtube.com/Timcast. It's a different channel. Go check it out. We're breaking down the Act Blue scandal. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll see you all then.